If drama film for Christmas, why not Christmas film for Halloween?
I hope no one else is doing a bit, but I'm doing a bit.
Daddy's got a pod.
I'm Casey Kasem, and this one's for the perverts.
Join us in our strange ritual.
That is time traveling love smut.
I can only say horny in one season opener.
A medium amount of fun and an extra large amount of sweaty.
From the minds that brought you Giraffe and Amerisaur.
No regrets, no masters.
I got dick jokes to make, man. Leave me alone.
This is good. This is good for anyone.
This one's going to be weird. I'm very interested to see where this goes. Hello and welcome to Debate This, the show where no one is right, but someone is definitely wrong. In this show, we take time out of our busy adult lives to talk about comic books, video games, and how chimp crazy feels like it's going to be at 2020 Tiger King levels of pop culture relevant by the end of this month. And maybe I'm calling my shot early, but I just finished episode 2 and I am enthralled.
Impossible, Matt.
Yeah, I think so. Content-wise, absolutely. As the person who turned you onto this, the problem is, but worked for Tiger King, was we were all inside.
Yeah, it's
We were
not
all
2020.
inside.
That's the problem.
Unless you know of a worldwide global pandemic coming down the pipe.
Got any of those lying around?
No, I don't. But I do think it's been a hot minute since we've had like
a global pandemic.
doc.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, stop it. I think it's been a hot minute since we've had a doc that's gone like, okay, everybody needs to see
Everyone
this
needs
one,
to watch it.
and I think it might be chimp crazy. I'm 2 episodes in, and oh my god, dude! How are more people not talking about this,
Dude? Listen, we talked about it in the last post show. I think that's where I referenced it. Everyone should go watch it. It's on Max.
From what I understand, at least from one of the scenes, I don't think everyone should watch it, actually.
You should watch it with a strong constitution in mind, because there's some troubling things.
Maybe fast forward it.
I mean, they don't. It's tastefully put together. Anyway, hey, do you guys hear that faintly off in the distance? Is that a train whistle?
Could it be?
Could it be that it's finally that time of year once again? The most wonderful time of the year, filled with candy, tradition, and just a little bit of guts and glore? No, silly, I'm not talking about Christmas. I'm talking about the Spooktacular Express.
Insert train whistle here!
All of us prepped like we were going to woo, and then none of us went the whole way and did it. And that's season 7 for you.
Good.
Hey, if this is your first year riding with us here on DT Railways, welcome. The Spooktacular Express is our annual October streak of spooky and spooky adjacent content. That's right. Every Tuesday for the whole month of October, we'll bring hot, fresh, seasonal content to the DT main feed. And thanks to all that spooky, scary infrastructure funding we've had this year, the Spooktacular Express is making an extra stop on the 5th Tuesday of October.
I'm really impressed that the infrastructure funding was able to be spent so quickly that a whole extra stop was added in a year's time. Normally,
it's true.
The wheels of government do not turn that quickly.
Mm-hmm. Nor do the wheels of any city's metro. I think they're still building that station that they were building when I lived in San Francisco 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, also, Spooktacular Express is our annual Halloween month. It's also the best time to sign up to join our Patreon. Why, you ask? Because not only do we have 5 episodes coming to the DT main feed this month, but we still have a special episode of our premium show, Deconstructed, hitting the Patreon feed. That means you can get 6, count them 6, DT episodes across 5 DT weeks! Also, this is the part where I'll cut in something later about what else is happening this month once we talk about it, figure it out, and I'll do it in post. Hey, here it is, that part I cut in later. I wanted to give you the rundown of what exactly is happening with the Spooktacular Express this year. So, we are going to run a Patreon drive. Our goal for the month of October is to finish with 10 new patrons, either folks who have joined us for the first time or folks who jumped up their subscription. If we hit that number, we are going to do a big old stream at the end of the month. Details to follow there. But to sweeten the pot for you a little bit this Spooktacular Express season, anyone who signs up for the Patreon or ups their subscription or ups their tier during the month of October will get $5 off their month in November. So if you join at the $5 tier, you get November for free. And if you are on the $5 tier and jump to the $10 tier, or if you join at the $10 tier, then in November, you will only pay $5. And that does mean it is the cheapest way to commission a flavor text. If you would like to jump up to that $60 tier in November, we will honor that $5 off. So one more time, we're looking for 10 new or raised patrons by the end of the month of October. If we hit it, we're going to do a stream. And if you join our Patreon or raise your tier during the month of October, then we'll do a big stream. We'll have a big thing and we'll do some fun stuff. All right, back to the episode. Now let's all grab our carry-ons and hand our spooky ticket to the spooky conductor so the Spooktacular Express can roll on to its first stop of the month. And listeners, we've all got one-way tickets to Retribution Land, where I hope to get my retribution for what these three idiots did to me 10 months ago. Let me explain. In December of 2023, I had the great idea to host an episode of Debate This where I asked my friends to turn either a Hallmark or Lifetime movie into a video game. In what may have been the largest bag I've ever fumbled, I did not clarify that I meant for all their answers to be holiday-themed movies. Imagine my surprise when Kyle pitched us a farming sim based on 1991's The Last Prostitute. Did you remember that you did that, Kyle?
I do. I was struggling to remember the name of the movie I did when we did this episode, but I certainly remembered the content of that movie.
I was going back from the notes from that episode and said out loud, "Holy shit, I forgot that I wrote a whole sequel to a Lifetime movie."
Yeah, you made up a whole movie that didn't exist. It was crazy. So for those curious, that was episode 134, Grumpy Matt's Worst Christmas Ever. It ended up being a very funny episode, and we'll be sure to link it in the show notes, but it also sparked an idea. If drama film for Christmas, why not Christmas film for Halloween? And that's what we've come here to do today.
Good.
I've asked Kyle, Silent Night, Deadly Night Harper, Todd, It's a Wonderful Knife Thomas, and Andrew, Christmas Bloody Christmas Henderson to consume Hallmark movies 3 months early.
Those rule. Those titles rule.
We have to have all been blank, Silent Night, Deadly Night blank at this point. That is not the first or second time that movie has been a middle name bit on this show.
I'm positive It's a Wonderful Knife has been said on this show before, in that order.
That was just Matt talking about how much he loves his knife.
Well, Forged in Fire episodes.
Well, we've done It's a Wonderful Knife has definitely been said on a Forged in Fire episode. I remembered using Silent Night, Deadly Night. I don't think I've used It's a Wonderful Knife or Christmas Bloody Christmas.
Yeah,
I don't remember when I used Silent Night, Deadly Night, but like Kyle said, I know it's not the first time.
Get at us in the comments. All right.
All right, so I have asked them to watch those holiday movies because the folks at Hallmark are looking to reach a new market, and they've asked for our help. Every year, stores switch to Christmas earlier and earlier. When the Christmas trees sprouted before Thanksgiving, no one batted an eye, but as Big Christmas has worked to spread holiday cheer as early as September, all those weird Halloween people have held firm, leaving those stores in a mishmash of black, orange, red, and green.
Yeah, except now we're getting Halloween stuff put out in the end of July, and that's not better. It's just different.
Well, that's because Halloween starts in August, Kyle. Anyway, Hallmark hopes to cross the clearance aisle between holiday sections with an olive branch. They want us to take one of their beloved Hallmark holiday movies and pitch it as an immersive horror game experience. And that is what we're gonna do. So I would like you guys to introduce your actual, and I'll be clear this time, Hallmark Christmas movie, and give us a rundown of the plot, actors, and really anything else you feel is important about this movie. Kyle, we'll start with you.
Yeah, Matt. So the movie I am talking about today is An Unexpected Christmas. Unexpected Christmas stars Tyler Hynes of a bunch of other Hallmark Christmas movies fame.
Of Hallmark fame.
Love that.
And Bethany Joy Lenz of One Tree Hill and also other Hallmark movies fame. Tyler Hynes also is in 8 episodes of Letterkenny.
Oh, that's what I know this guy from.
He's, is it Dirks?
Yeah, it's Dirks.
Dirks. He's Dirks in Letterkenny. And I'm just going to read the probably AI generated synopsis on IMDb because honestly, I'm not going to sum this movie up any better than Hallmark already has. Jamie hasn't told his family that he and his now ex-girlfriend Emily broke up. After an inopportune run-in with Emily at the train station in his hometown, Jamie convinces her to pretend they're still a couple to avoid ruining Christmas for his family. Jamie and Emily engage in a week-long ruse of engaging in his family's holiday activities together. While they're stuck in his family's home together, the pair discovers their relationship might still have some potential, resulting in a very unexpected Christmas.
Oh, yes.
Good.
The name in the synopsis.
Yeah, that's how you know it's a Hallmark movie.
Hasn't this movie happened like 10 other times? I feel like
Yes.
this
Yeah.
trope
This
is
There's 2 Hallmark movies, Matt. There's couple that broke up, get stuck together, and fall back in love.
Mm-hmm.
A parent trap, if you will. There's a parent trap, and then the other one is big time exec,
Successful
Mhm.
single woman moves back, goes back home, meets hunky local, falls in love, quits, big time job.
I think this movie also it's very much a just generic rom-com. Like they just made this movie with Sydney Sweeney and the one handsome man from Twisters.
It's just that set at Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I get it. I mean, I don't honestly have that many questions yet. Also, I do want to give you bonus points. You talked about a train, and it's Spooktacular Express season, and I don't think we give out enough train points. So train points
We're
to
getting
you.
train points now?
Yeah, no
The
one told
fuck,
me anything
Matt?
about the train points. We didn't
Season
talk about
7
that.
is where we start the train points.
There's a Hallmark movie that's literally the Christmas train. Why the
Well-
fuck are you saying this now?
I missed out.
God damn it.
I goofed.
All right. Well, I think it's probably too late for you to change your answers. So, Todd,
Watch me.
give me the rundown on your Hallmark movie.
Yeah, before I do that, I'm just gonna get this out of the way so it's not jarring to anyone. Main character's name is Todd. Did not know that when I selected this movie.
Uh-oh.
I was in too deep. Can't go back. I didn't want to like get through the description and be like, "Oh, that's so weird. This name's Todd." We're here. We're acknowledging it. I've created this space. I'm now moving on into my answer.
Much like Sum 41, Todd was in too deep.
I was in too deep.
Well, we can just call you, what did I call you at the beginning? A Wonderful Knife? We can just call you
Wonderful Knife.
Wonderful
Yeah.
Knife.
So we're going to talk about 2009's Hallmark Christmas movie, A Dog Named Christmas. Kyle was right. There are 2 types of Christmas movies, but there's also a third that like pet involved. And so this is A Dog Named Christmas, a movie that I selected long before I read anything about or watched any trailers or consumed any media. Here we go. So it's starring Bruce Greenwood, Linda Emond, and Noel Fisher, who are all 3 people that if you look them up, you'll be like, oh, that person. Specifically, Noel Fisher is from Shameless. That's where I recognized Noel.
Okay.
So yeah, the other 2, Bruce Greenwood and Linda Emond, again, both people that if you look them up, you're going to say, oh yeah, them. I mean, I'm not wrong.
I mean, I'm looking at it. I'm looking it up now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this movie follows Noel's character, Todd McRae, who is, and
Okay,
I'm going
yeah.
to quote, yep, they're just, there they are.
No, I got you. I'm on board.
I'm going to follow Kyle and just quote the IMDb synopsis because
They're really a work of art in their own, aren't they?
and it's their words, not mine. A developmentally challenged young man with a penchant for caring for animals in need sets out to convince his family and their whole rural community to participate in the local shelter's inaugural Adopt a Dog for Christmas program. So that's what we're doing. It is a rural town where no one likes anyone and everyone's mean, and we're going to save this town by having them take home a pet over the holidays, which is a real thing that shelters do, both to alleviate like the work on the shelter workers, but also to say, if you make wonderful lifelong memories with this pet over Christmas, you're probably going to keep it. So the way the movie goes, Todd himself adopts a dog and names it Christmas, because why wouldn't you? And throughout the 1 hour and 35-minute runtime, Todd and Christmas convinces the people of his rural town that the true love of an animal companion can open their hearts and turn them from terrible people to good people, I guess. Through the effort of a boy and his dog, we find out that the best gift for Christmas is Christmas itself. Because the dog's name is Christmas.
Because the dog's name is Christmas.
Do you think they just call the dog Chris the other 11 months of the year?
Well, anyone who owns a pet knows you only call it by its full Christian name when it's in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I can't wait to find out that this movie was based in Cary, Ohio. And is actually...
It could have been in Cary, Ohio.
Yeah, okay.
It's autobiographical of Todd's childhood.
It couldn't be that far off.
Todd, did you have a dog named Christmas? If you had a dog named Christmas, you have to tell us.
No, I would never do that. That's a terrible dog name.
Todd's dog was actually named Memorial Day, so...
Yeah. More Armistice Day. That was my dog's name.
That was a good joke.
All right.
That's a good joke.
Well, 2 holiday movies down, both checking the Christmas box. We're good so far. Andrew, bring us home. What Hallmark movie did you watch today?
I watched them. So I want to start by saying I made 2 very big mistakes today. One is I got a free trial of Hallmark Plus today. I've already deactivated it. Don't worry. And 2 is the movie that I watched was not The Christmas Train, starring, I shit you not, Dermot Mulroney.
Hell yes. Hell yes.
Andrew, you missed 2 gigantic windows of opportunity here.
I'm so mad. I almost was like, can I make this work? Can I just steer it? I have 7 pages of notes about fucking boyfriends of Christmas past, but can I make this work?
Oh, wow. You know what? Honestly, I will give you a single train point just for being familiar enough with Hallmark Plus that you know that there's a Christmas train movie that isn't Christmas Express or whatever that
Thank you.
thing is called.
As the Polar Express. As I was
Polar
looking
Express,
through Hallmark movies, I found one that was called Boyfriends of Christmas Past. And I was like, ghosts! All right.
Is it just
so here we go.
Scott Pilgrim, but Hallmark and Christmas?
It's Christmas Carol. It's Christmas Carol.
Okay.
Yeah. I wish it were Scott. Oh boy, Kyle, I wish it were Scott Pilgrim.
I can give you the IMDb of Andrew's movie right now. It's what if a Christmas Carol, but you'd fucked all the ghosts?
Yeah.
Found the cold open.
Yeah.
Right there.
What if you gave Jacob Marley a handy in high school?
Maybe that's the cold open, actually.
Let's not call our cold open out too early here, guys.
Yeah. So I'm going to read the synopsis and then I'm going to just like real quick tight 30 this because I wrote a lot more than what I'm going to say. So here we go. Lauren Kim is a perfectly happy and successful marketing executive who is surrounded by a loving family and close friends, most notably her BFF, Nate, with whom she's been close since college. The only thing Lauren can't seem to get right is her dating life, as she hints by mentioning her breakup last year and wondering why it just has never worked out for her. Good thing Lauren has Nate, her best friend and perfect match, if she could only just see it. So that's kind of like the setup, right? The whole bit of this doesn't actually, this suffers from Madam Web problem in that it doesn't actually like resolve until 30 minutes into the movie. Oof. But it sets up like Lauren is big a marketing executive. She's given the pitch of a lifetime. She's pitching, wait for it, bakeware because she's a woman and can only know about baking stuff, even though she has a professional job. That's one red flag number 1. Let me be clear. I did not have nearly as much fun watching this movie as I did watching that Lifetime movie. I would subscribe to 100 Lifetime pluses before another day of Hallmark Plus.
Hallmark movies sound like they really need to do what the MCU did and like start the action 5 minutes into the movie.
Give me right in. I don't need to see an Uncle Ben die every Hallmark movie.
We don't need to see a successful woman's high paying career. We get it. We don't need to see an awkward meet cute in a train station.
Yeah, man.
We are like within under 8 minutes, we get Doctor Strange in a car accident. Yeah. Let's just keep that pace going.
Yeah.
The one piece of credit I will give Boyfriends of Christmas Past is it doesn't run the same formula as the other two examples that we've shared before. It is like, I guess, unique. Let me break it down. So the whole bit here is Lauren wakes up and she's visited by, there's just a teen in her house. That's weird. And the teen says, "Hey, I'm Tyler." And that Tyler is her high school boyfriend. And it's just the echo, a memory of her high school boyfriend. And he, very much Jacob Marley style, says, "You're going to be visited by 3 ex-boyfriends before Christmas." And she's like, "That's weird." And she is. And so like the movie, she kind of just like glides through her life of like, I'm doing the big marketing pitch. Meanwhile, she's got her best friend Nate, who's like very obviously in love with her. But every time he tries to like say something, every time he tries to get close, she's like, "I have to go work." Like it's very, and then the silly music plays, you know. So the major 3, like the whole point with the ex-boyfriends is we get 3 ex-boyfriends. The first one is, these are all just generic white guy names. There's Jake, who's her boyfriend from college. And each one of them take her to a memory. So it's not Christmas Carol, but it's if Christmas Carol was 3 Christmas pasts.
Oh, okay. So I was gonna predict that Nate is our ex-boyfriend of Christmas future because
you're close. You're close. Yeah, okay. You're basically there, Kyle. So boyfriend 1 shows her a memory of them in college, and he's like, "I want to take you home for Christmas to meet my family." And Lauren's like, "I can't because of my mom." Because guys, guess what? Lauren's mom left her family right before Christmas, and she's been forever traumatized by that.
She's hated Christmas ever since.
She hates Christmas, Kyle.
There it is. Yeah. Okay.
So she breaks up with Jake. Next boyfriend, this is Henry. They were dating in like their early 20s. Henry's big memory is he asked her to move in with her. And she said, "I can't because it's too close to Christmas. We have to break up." Or whatever. I don't know. At this point, I was building a magic deck. Who the fuck cares? And then boyfriend number 3 is Logan. Logan is who I mentioned at the beginning, who we set up. This is her most recent boyfriend, who they broke up last year. Ding, ding, ding. It was right before Christmas. Logan proposed to her because now we're escalating. And she said, "I can't. It's too close to Christmas. We have to break up." Meanwhile, after each of these 3, we see her like go and call or like walk to his door. She goes to seek comfort by her best friend, Nate, who like, again, like has met her family. Like he's, again, like they're basically married at this point, but
she's had Nate on the hook. Like
she's had Nate on the hooks
as a backup boyfriend for 10 years. Yeah.
So now she sees a pattern. The boyfriends are all come together. They're like, "You have to realize your mistake before it's too late." And then Kyle, it's the Ghost of Christmas Future where she sees Nate proposing to another woman right before Christmas.
God, I hate this.
Yeah, it sucks. It sucks. It is like Z3 levels of like, I'm upset.
Oh man, that's a tough bar.
Yeah, man.
I want to reiterate. So no one asked Andrew.
No one made me do this
to watch this movie.
No, I mean you guys sure shit didn't, but I did. I don't know why I did, but I did. So I thought this would be like a lifetime thing, have a good fun time with Christy Carlson Romano. Not the case. So anyway, Lauren professes her love for Nate, and they go home to hang out with her dad, and all is great, and it's Christmas. Cool.
All right. You know, I gotta say, like, sometimes when you play Cards Against Humanity, apples to apples, whatever, you know there's a card on the board that you're like, "Ah, man, if anybody plays that one card, I like that card so much, they're gonna win no matter what." And Andrew, I see a path to you playing the proverbial card for your movie. And if I have this idea in my head, and if you manage to land the plane in the hangar that I think you're flying towards without reading ahead,
okay, let's see.
You might get more than a couple train points, bud.
Holy shit, more train points. Color me shocked.
Also, Kyle said, sounds like Hallmark needs to start doing the Marvel thing And I, honest to God, thought you were going to say Connected Universe. And I was like, Kyle.
I think they already did. I think they already have.
I think it has to be real.
No, I think
you're going to tell me that there's 400 Hallmark movies and there's not an overlap. There's not an ambitious crossover.
The Candace Cameron Burke-verse.
We're probably 2 years away from a Hallmark cinematic universe just because they got to catch up to 10 years ago.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks. You all checked the box. You all did Christmas. And honestly, that's all that first question was for. I just needed to make sure these were honest to God Christmas movies because Hallmark wasn't going to fly or they weren't going to play the game if it wasn't. So now it's time to spook them up. Let's spook them up, you guys. How are we going to take the plot and happenings of your movie and turn it into a playable horror experience? Is it from a different perspective? Are we changing any major plot points? This is there's like comedy movies that people recut into horror movie trailers and put slowed down versions of rock songs behind them. Yep. We're doing one of those. Kyle, kick it off.
So, Matt, if you have my particular brand of neurodivergence, the title An Unexpected Christmas is already horrifying enough. I saw the title of this movie, and before I looked it up, assumed it was something like so-and-so's family calls and says they're flying in the next day to celebrate Christmas. And that, to me, was already a horror movie. However, the actual plot of the movie is also enough of a horror movie that we don't need to make a ton of changes, because spending an entire week doing Christmas with your family with a recent ex also sounds pretty horrifying. But to make this a game that is fun and playable, I asked the question, what if after you spent a week with a recent ex and your family celebrating Christmas, you woke up and it was the beginning of that week again?
Oh,
and again.
Oh,
and again.
Oh.
So, Matt, in An Unexpected Christmas, the game, players will play through a week of surviving Christmas with their family and recent ex, likely unsuccessfully resolving the game. There is a resolution at the game if you do the time loop right. And when they complete the week, they think they are in the clear. Their ex, leaves to head back home for their Christmas, and they wake up and it is the day they ran into their ex at the train station again. We're doing a Groundhog Day. We're doing a Majora's Mask. You have a week to play through the events, perhaps learn some new information that you can take into your following week or after, and you're trying to break the time loop, which you have to figure out how to do that while going through the time loop. As you play through these time loops over and over, because this is a horror game, we're going to spook it up a little, and as you learn new things to progress the meta story, the overarching story, you're going to be able to get new voice prompts, new text prompts to elicit new answers and responses from the NPCs in the game. Some of which are going to be depressing as all hell. Or just a tap on the glass of like, hey, it feels like we've lived this moment 2,000 times previously. Because a time loop is also a really horrifying concept.
I love the time traveling roguelite of you maintain your skill progression as you continue to go through the time loop.
Yeah.
Well, that's how time loops work. Groundhog's Day taught us that with Bill Murray's ability to play piano. So
yes, you don't have to reset your skill points at the beginning of the loop. Yeah.
Yeah. Kyle, I gotta say, you got train points and you've brought a third holiday to the party in Halloween, Christmas.
What
and
is this
Groundhog's
rubric?
Yeah, we're gonna have a team meeting after this.
Oh, perhaps had you all played the game I wanted you to play 10 months ago,
this is on us.
the game you play now would have rules that are fair.
Okay.
All right. I love it. Great. Awesome. I do think that a time loop is very scary, especially if I were spending it with my ex and my family. That is the scariest potential time loop. Confirmed. Okay. Todd, how are we making A Dog Named Christmas into a horror experience?
Yeah, this is going to be great. So instead of retelling the same movie but spooky, we're just going to pick up where the movie kind of ends logically and go from there in a spooky way. So think about it this way. Todd and Christmas, because those are the two main characters, which is just a funny thing to say. They're successful at the end of the movie. The town has been, the shitty folk of the town have been thoroughly shamed into emptying the shelter by adopting hundreds of pets that they did not want and they are not prepared to house. But through the group shaming of, don't you want these pets to be happy at Christmas? All these people go, yeah. There's a catch, though. We find out that as the last pet is being taken out of the shelter, that the kind old woman who's been running this neglected pet shelter is actually a witch who was wronged by the people in the town hundreds of years ago. So, in turn...
The dogs are people!
No, no, but that could be fun. Could be fun. In turn, she is brought to life the spirits of mistreated animals now to be manifested as these adorable shelter pets. As they're just dispersed throughout the town, they leech all the negative energy off of all these terrible NPC-like townsfolk who are just mean, ultimately terrorizing them and, unfortunately, the innocents as well. We are still playing this game in the perspective of Todd McRae. Todd McRae and Christmas are still the main characters, but now he knows the truth about Christmas. Which is a fun sentence to say out loud.
What does that mean?
Finally, Todd learned the truth about Christmas.
It's a new take on finding the true meaning of Christmas.
Yes.
Yeah,
it's good.
So Todd finds that Christmas is no longer a lovable golden retriever. Christmas has evolved gremlin style into a hellhound. That's just the way it is now. But we also find out that Christmas is a little different. Christmas is special. Christmas is the avatar of the god of mistreated pets. So he's just a little bit different. Since Todd, and we find this out in the movie, is the only decent human being in rural Townsville or wherever this takes place. Christmas.
Cary,
Ohio. Self-insert. Christmas hasn't turned on Todd. Instead, Christmas is going to protect Todd from the twisted beasts of his town, both human and demon, as Todd finds a way out.
Todd, is this just the plot of Shaggy Dog? Tim Allen's Shaggy Dog?
Okay, out of the bit. I did realize some similarities as I was talking about dogs and gods. I would like to move on.
Okay.
Tim Allen's not in this movie.
It's like the entire town has declared all-out war on Christmas.
I don't
think this town would declare war on Christmas. this town would be saying there is a war on Christmas.
Yeah, that's fair. That doesn't seem on brand.
I'm not going to leave us stuck in that conundrum any longer. Andrew, tell me about how we're going to make, is it Ghosts of No, it's Boyfriends of Christmas Past.
That's the Mark Ruffalo, that's the, what's her name? Jennifer Garner movie.
13 going on 30?
No, Ghosts of Boyfriends Past or something. Ghosts of
that's definitely
This is Boyfriends of Christmas Past.
Okay,
Different.
Anyway, how are you making it a horror game?
I would love to tell you, Matt. So the whole contrivance of this cutesy Christmas Carol homage is that the ex-boyfriends are not ghosts. Like I said, they're just like echoes of Lauren's memories. The movie even like takes a beat to say like, hey, these are real people who have moved on and like aren't pining for this woman. Like they have their own lives. They're not actually in her house, right? So the major spin to make this Halloween is that the boyfriends are just ghosts. They're all just straight up ghosts.
Okay.
I mean, that's it. Not only that, they are spiteful ghosts of the damned, seeking revenge for the grisly ways in which they died.
Oh.
So I'm gonna go into detail how there's a nightmare scenario with each one of these boyfriends. But in order for me to do that, I have to explain that this is like a point and click interactive novel. So think like Danganronpa.
Yeah.
Because I wrote this as a movie because I didn't realize we were making a game until it was too late. So
love
it's
that.
a video game podcast, Andrew.
It happens. It's happened to all of us at once.
It specifically happened to me when I talked about Lifetime Movies' Deadly Daycare. I realized that I have to make this a game. Whoops. So anyway, here we go. So the game's going to start just like the movie does, but Lauren mentions how her last boyfriend passed away after an accidental overdose. And like, obviously this was pretty shocking. She didn't even know he was taking drugs, but good thing Nate was there to be a friend and a comfort. We'll come back to that. Now we continue on. Lauren is visited by high schooler Tyler. Tyler asks Lauren like, hey, do you remember why we stopped seeing each other? And she's like, you moved away. And he goes, no, I didn't move anywhere. You just forgot and you let yourself believe I moved away. And she was like, that's weird. And then he says, like, you're going to be visited by phantoms of the past. And he says, I wonder if you'll even care to remember who they are. And then she's like, that's weird. I'm going to go marketing.
I love that this ghost is not only spiteful, but is also petty as hell.
Yeah, he's a petty bitch.
I'm going to go marketing is what Andrew says when he leaves home every morning to go to work.
Get in the car and said, I'm going to go marketing. So as the player, this is your like Danganronpa style, like looking through and finding clues. So you as Lauren look through old newspaper articles and you find a headline confirming that Tyler did in fact mysteriously disappear. And turns out that his parents spent years searching for him and never found him. His body was never found. So fast forward, we get the first major climax here, or the first major event here, which is the visit from the college boyfriend. Instead of her just like finding him in her kitchen, Lauren wakes up at the bottom of a massive pool. She comes to and realizes that she can't breathe. She's flailing and flailing, trying to find the surface of the water. Just as she's about to lose consciousness, we see her. And again, this is an interactive novel, so it's just in illustrations. An arm kind of emerges from the water and pulls her up. And we see her college boyfriend, Jake, except Jake is like completely pale white and like unnaturally bloated. Jake comes close, like to open his mouth to talk, but just like water just cascades out like bleh. Lauren runs away toward the source of like very dim light, where we see a shadowy figure disappearing along with the sound of a door closing and then absolute darkness. She wakes up in a cold sweat and she calls Nate. That will be important later. Days later, she starts to remnant. This is more like investigating. We get a little narrative about a guy she dated in college named Henry who died by suicide. And this is something, she tries not to think about this. It was very odd, very surprising, because a lot of people, like, she didn't really think that, he was dealing with stuff. But again, you never really know people. So the next nightmare is she's driving on a country road. All of a sudden, her car sputters and dies, and she has to get out and find, civilization. But of course, all she finds is a small wooden cabin in the distance that's covered by fog. She walks inside, and that's when we see a rope go around her neck as she's being choked. The assailant on the other side is this ghastly looking figure. He's got red marks all over his neck and his chest. Lauren breaks free through a quick time event, whatever, who cares? And runs back to her car. But the man is too fast and catches her. He goes to like put her hands around her neck, and she wakes up, calls Nate for comfort in a cold sweat. Now, at this point, Lauren is like terrified to sleep. She's afraid of like what other horrors she's going to see from her past. We get more like researching investigation. We're trying to put together more pieces of info that she can find out about these exes. We learn that Jake's body was found at the bottom of the college's pool. And this is weird because she doesn't remember this ever happening. What she remembers is she went away for a weekend and came back, and everyone told her that he just moved away, and she thought that was weird. But like, it was weird that he never called, but like, people move on. It's, it's kind of whatever. Also, like, she looks into Henry's suicide, and again, like, no evidence that he was dealing with any sort of pain. So if you're the player at this point, you're starting to piece things together. Now, eventually, the big climax is Lauren falls asleep and finds herself in a warped version of her old apartment. We hear the sounds of a TV nearby, and then Lauren comments she recognizes immediately that this is the moment she found her most recent boyfriend, Logan's body after the overdose. And that's what we see. Again, in weird interactive novel. You get it. She sees Logan like dead laying on a couch. Except as she gets closer, that figure begins to like fuzz out and morphs to be her. She sees herself on the couch. And then that's when she's pricked in the shoulder by a large needle, where her body falls limp. And then the zombified figure of Logan is standing above her, holding a bottle of an unmarked bottle of pills. Lauren fights him off, regains control of her body, runs outside, and then we see a car leaving the parking lot. And that's where I'll pause here and I'll say, how will Lauren escape the ghosts of her past? Who's behind all of these grisly deaths, and why can't she seem to remember all these awful things that happened? Find out in Hallmark Presents Christmas of Boyfriend's Past. PASSED.
Good. All right.
Good.
Fine. Look, I hope that one day you read a full episode prompt before you write your answer. Because I think if you used your powers for good instead of evil, we'd really get somewhere. But I love that. I do think that you're still on path to hitting the ending that I've kind of predicted.
No train points, but I'll take a check mark at least.
Yeah, no train points. And I know you said Danganronpa, but that's kind of just Heavy Rain. Like, are you doing Heavy Rain?
Well, I already did Heavy Rain and Deadly Daycare, so I was trying to do something different. But yeah, it's Heavy Rain.
All right. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and get to the climax of these games. How will it end? Is the goal of the player to survive? Is there a climactic chase scene from a monster? What is the final scene, and how does it leave the door open for a sequel? Kyle, we'll start with you.
Yeah, Matt. So as you play through the first few time loops, the player is going to come to the assumption that the game wants you to fall in love with your ex, learn the true meaning of Christmas, and that is how you break the time loop. I'm here to tell you now, Matt, that is not how you break the time loop. The real way you break the time loop is by finding out that you do not belong with your ex. You and your ex should not get back together for Christmas, and in fact need to use the time spent with your family to make sure everyone in your family and your ex all understand that. That is how this time loop ends. Once you break the time loop, there are a series of endings you get depending on, how quickly you broke it, what NPC interactions you unlock, et cetera, et cetera. But the true ending, Matt, is going to show our player waking up, and it is December 26th. The time loop has not restarted. It is Boxing Day now. You can move on. However, less than a week later, at a New Year's Eve party, as everyone is counting down to bring in the new year, something strange happens. You're at a party, we hear everyone count down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. But instead of Happy New Year, your alarm clock goes off again. You wake up and it's New Year's Eve again. You're stuck in another time loop.
Just a different time loop.
Great. Being out of a time loop for 5 days and then going back into a time loop
sucks.
Awful.
Just enough time that you think you're free.
Yeah. You're like, there's no way I'm going back.
Yeah.
Oh, man. That's really cosmically upsetting, Kyle. That's a great ending to a horror game. I like that a lot. All right.
Here's a question. Do you age in a time loop?
Bill Murray says no.
Yeah, Bill Murray says no.
Groundhog's Day and the Andy Samberg Groundhog Day both no. You don't age. You just
retain all of your knowledge and your skills, and you have all your memories, but you physically don't age. Is that?
Yes. Your mortal shell does not age. No.
You do lose all your rupees and ammunition that you picked up.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't want to think about this anymore because I'm going to think about it for the rest of the day. Anyway, Todd, tell me about the ending for your Christmas dog.
Yeah, that's Dog Named Christmas. Still the same name, different thing. So every being in town is either being tortured, twisted with evil magic, or is now a evil demon pet. So Todd has no choice but to escape from this cursed town with the help of his godlike devil dog Christmas. So the final level of our game feels like something cut out of like the most recent season of Stranger Things when they're fighting in that nightmare hellscape of the Upside Down, or like the end of Halo 1 or 3 when you're like trying to escape from an exploding thing, with just twisted monstrosities trying to attack Todd while he and Christmas make that run for safety. Todd and Christmas find themselves just cornered by a giant evil pet, probably like a twisted labradoodle or the chinchilla or something else adopted from this rural shelter, before a series of QuickTime events kick in. And Todd is left dodging the great beast as Christmas ultimately throws himself in harm's way while pushing Todd into a ravine. You know how rural towns have ravines.
Sure.
And Todd falls into this ravine, floating safely away from the nightmares of rural Townsville, leaving it all behind as he can hear the howls and the growls and the blood-curdling screams as he seemingly floats to safety.
Okay. Sure. I think that might have been the ending of a Resident Evil game. It sounds
probably
like
was
a Resident Evil
Everything
game,
is something.
It feels very Evil Dead. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's cool. Okay. I'm in. I'm there. Andrew, I'm not going to lie to you. You have the most important task of the three giving this answer because I tell you what, if you don't land in the hangar I think you're landing in, it's over for you.
I'm landing a plane. It might not be your plane. So after she has that nightmare about the overdose, we as the player and as Lauren look more into all of the events that lead up. And this is the big reveal. Logan never once had a prescription. There was no record of him ever having pain meds stronger than ibuprofen. And then she says to herself, like, well, he could have maybe gotten something off the street, but like he was such a bad liar and a do-gooder that like there's no way that he could have been doing illicit drug deals for years. Like, no, it has to be something else than that. So we get security cam footage from the super from the apartment complex the day that she found Logan, and we see a car pull up and out appears Nate. He throws something in his pocket. And then Nate kind of looks around suspiciously and heads into the apartment complex. This is the big climax of all of the investigation. If the player gets enough evidence, Lauren will piece together the truth. The truth about Christmas is that in all of these instances, Nate was present. Nate was on campus when Tyler drowned. Nate she had just left like a group date with Nate hours before they found Henry's body. And then, of course, Nate had left the premises before she found Logan. Nate was responsible. Nate has been the killer the whole time. And that's the point at which the ghosts of all of the exes come back. And they look normal now. They look like Star Wars Force ghosts, right? And they thank Lauren for finding the truth and helping to put their tormented souls to rest. And in order to make amends for the nightmares and the haunting and the such, they say, we're going to give you one. And that one is one of three endings in which Lauren can select which of the three grisly deaths she wants to reenact to kill Nate on Christmas to end the haunting once and for all. So that's fun. So you get to watch Nate die a horrible murder. Now, if Lauren as the player doesn't get enough evidence, she'll never learn the truth about Christmas and will instead seek comfort with Nate yet again, who says, I can make the nightmares go away, to which he proposes under mistletoe, and she lives happily ever after. The end. Question mark?
There was a movie that came out a while ago, Happy Death Day.
Okay.
And this feels like this might be similar to that, only that was a woman waking up every day of her birthday and dying. And it sounds like
That's
only it's
different.
reverse. You're waking up every day and you're choosing how Nate gets to die.
Well, we're waking up once. You're choosing how Nate gets to die.
It's not every day. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's a time loop.
One.
It's not a time loop.
That's a time loop.
Yeah. Okay. Great news. I figured at the beginning it was the boyfriend. I was like, not the boyfriend, the friend boy.
Yeah, the friend.
I was like,
the friend boy.
Friend boy's killing them all. That's got to be
100%.
It's got to be the thing. Okay, that's good. All right.
We did it.
I like it.
Train points.
Yeah, no, you didn't say anything about trains. You only get train points if you say things about trains.
You kill him on a train.
No, that's not a thing.
It's a Christmas train. Start Dermot Mulroney.
Time to move on. We need to take a quick break here, but I think you all have excellent pitches. You've all taken a Hallmark Christmas movie. You have turned it into a playable horror experience, and you have given us an ending that I think players are really going to like. Now, I reached out to the folks at Hallmark. They're interested in all of these options, but they need to make a call. They can only fund one. And they have decided they want to make their first Hallmark original Halloween movie. Editor's note, I do not know if there have been other Hallmark Halloween movies. Anyway, they want to make their first asterisk Hallmark Halloween movie, and they want it to be a sequel to your game. So tell us about the plot of that sequel movie, where they can go from your ending. I will take your answers right after this.
Matt, I have great news for you.
What's that?
There are a lot of Hallmark Halloween movies.
I don't know that that's great news, but that's okay.
There's an entire Good Witch universe.
I don't want that. I don't want that. But thank you for getting.
I mean, they're Hallmark Christmas
Plus
movies, but with orange and pumpkin instead of red and mistletoe.
Yeah, of course.
It's like the Halloween section in your store is just the Christmas section, but orange and pumpkin instead of red, green, and Christmas tree.
Exactly.
You get it.
You get it. Anyway, we're back, and I want to hear about your potential sequel to your game that Hallmark can make into a Halloween movie. Kyle, let's start with you.
Yeah, Matt. So let me tell you about an unexpected Halloween. So 1 year almost, I guess, 10 months after the events of An Unexpected Christmas. What was his name? Tyler? It doesn't matter. The same guy is taking a train back home to his parents yet again, where yet again he runs into a recently broken up with ex of his. And Matt, it's just the same thing. It's the same movie, except there is actually a time loop in the Halloween version of the movie because the game was so popular. They wrote the time loop into the movie. The twist here, Matt, is that more than a few time loops in, our main character discovers that he is not the subject of this time loop. He is stuck in someone else's time loop and just happens to be removed from time as well, and has to help this new mystery person get out of their own time loop before he runs out of time.
Is there a Groundhog's Day 2? Because if they had ever made a Groundhog's Day 2, it's that movie that you just said, right?
There is a Groundhog's Day 2, I'm pretty sure.
That feels like a Mulan 2 kind of situation.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Aladdin 3.
All right. Well, it's weird that you said the third one. Anyway.
Well, Return of Jafar was legit.
Todd, hey, it's your turn. Tell me about the sequel to A Christmas Dog.
Yeah. It's a dog named Christmas. Thank you. So we find Todd with a beard and glasses to show that time has passed. Todd is safe, but he's lost everything he's ever loved. News, however, has broken about the monstrous takeover of rural Townsville, or whatever the name of the town is, because I certainly don't remember. And now Cary, Ohio. And now the army plans to come in, quarantine off the whole place, and set it ablaze. Only thing they can choose to do in a time like this is burn the whole thing. Christmas is still in there, guys. And so it's up to Todd to sneak in an Outlast kind of like environment that's very spooky and terrifying. He's got to find his golden retriever dog, Christmas, who, as a reminder, has the soul of a dead god inside of him. And he has to get back out so that, two beings that were never really shown real compassion can just live peacefully together. And so this is going to be coming out in winter 2024, a movie called A God Named Christmas.
Oh, I didn't know the name of the movie. I thought it was going to be Saving Christmas.
Also could be God's Not Dead. That's not been a movie, right? No one's used that one?
No one's ever used that.
Certainly hasn't been a movie and 2 sequels, if not more sequels.
Yeah, I wonder what Kirk Cameron's up to.
This.
Nobody knows.
Literally what we're doing right now.
This, yeah.
This.
All right, Andrew, last but not least, tell us about the sequel of the Boyfriends in Christmas and whatever.
Yeah, whatever, who cares? So we talked about in the Lifetime episode that Hallmark and Lifetime are kind of this like equal but opposites, like and they're kind of both vying for power. And one is this like very kind of religiously charged, whereas the other one is very much not, right? They both seem on the surface like similar, but they have very like different voices, very different tones. So Hallmark is going to try and do a Lifetime movie, basically their version of a classic Lifetime movie. So the canon ending of Christmas of Boyfriends Past, Lauren does not piece together the evidence and does not ever learn the truth, and therefore gets married to Nate. A couple years pass. They have a young child. They take their child to preschool. And this is where Lauren meets the teacher, played by Alexa Penna-Vega. Now, that name may or may not be familiar, but that's the girl from Spy Kids.
The girl from Spy Kids. Yeah, I knew who that one was.
Now, I was doing some research, and I think I've decided that I needed to find the Hallmark version of Christy Carlson Romano. So I think Alexa Penavega is the closest thing I've got to the Hallmark version of that actress, because we're doing Deadly Daycare, but this time it's called Pernicious Preschool, the Hallmark version.
Oh, come on, man.
Good.
Good.
All right. Well, after that callback that nobody asked for, I am really interested to see what the folks over at Hallmark decide to go with. If you just wanted to maybe sum it up, give a bullet point or two as to why your Christmas to Halloween adaptation is going to be the most popular with gamers. Kyle, we'll start with you.
Yeah, Matt. An unexpected Christmas. Already pretty scary, but it gets worse.
Nice. I like that a lot. Todd.
Yeah, I'm just going to leave you with actually the tagline of what we've got here. This year, we find out the true meaning of Christmas is the love of a pet and the vengeance of a god.
That's really good. All right, Andrew, last but not least.
It's got the best of both worlds between the two best holidays that we all love. It's got ghosts and Christmas, love and death, grisly death.
Okay. Yeah, that'll do. I'm going to go chat with the folks from Hallmark. Why don't you guys give each other some good vibes?
Yeah, Todd, A Dog Named Christmas is both A-tier Hallmark nonsense and then a great vehicle for a Shaggy Dog knockoff.
Yeah.
I really like it. I really like your Shaggy Dog knockoff. That's not a dig at what you did today, because I think it's very funny and good. And Andrew, way to miss the train points and watch a whole movie. And
God damn it.
I appreciate your commitment to the bit by watching the whole movie. I also really like the way you make this movie a horror movie. Is they're actually all ghosts. They are all just ghosts of Christmas past. Very good.
Yeah, Kyle, O is in for a time loop. Gotta love a good time loop. And the fact that you opened up with, do you want to watch a Christmas ass movie, a Christmas ass Hallmark movie? Here it is. Two people that they're together. Maybe they shouldn't be, but we'll see what happens. Love that shit. Andrew, you could have told me that yours was just a real scary movie.
Thanks, man.
Again, yeah, it just could happen. I also love, what I love most about this is the Christmas portion is irrelevant. It could be any holiday, any major event.
Yep.
It could be the protagonist's birthday. A month before her birthday, every year she gets broken up with.
I really wanted to encapsulate the feeling of how pointless Christmas was to the source material.
100%.
You nailed it.
Yeah, pretty quickly on, I was like, Christmas has no relevance here, except the boyfriends continue to disappear before that event, and that's an event where sometimes, you introduce your partner for the first time. Yeah, I love how stupid that movie is that it had to be based around Christmas, and it really didn't.
Yeah. Kyle, who doesn't love a time loop? Who doesn't love playing a time loop? It's the best genre.
Some of my favorite games are time loops.
Some of my favorite games are time loops. I love how you took what is effectively the vanilla ice cream of holiday made-for-TV rom-coms, and you said, what if we turned that ice cream into whipped cream and actually made it like fun, colorful whipped cream? I think my favorite bit was the twist that like you're in someone else's time loop. So it's like, you don't have to learn anything. You just have to kind of wait and just kind of hang out.
Yeah.
And you can maybe like help somebody realize, what they need to learn, but like maybe you don't.
Maybe you don't.
Just kind of have fun, like play in this weird space, I guess.
Yeah. Get weird with it.
Just get weird with it. Todd, similarly, your kind of Evil Dead ass like action, like it was very like I could see like very schlocky B movie out of this is like the dog. There's like the narrator's like, this time the dogs come to haunt. You know what I mean? Like
it's definitely got the shifty eye. So The Simpsons, there's a bit where like you show the dog's the villain by zooming in and showing its shifty eyes. Like there's gonna be some of that at some point.
Yeah, I'm thinking
Tim Allen's shifty eyes on the dog.
A cat paw closes the door and another cat paw is holding a knife, kind of thing.
It's the trailer for the like 80s version of Pet Sematary.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which I like that a lot. And the dog's name is Christmas.
Dog's name is Christmas.
Dog's name is Christmas.
Can you imagine, time out, step out of the bit for a second. You got a kid. or a partner or a family member or whatever, and you're like, let's go adopt a dog. Adopt a dog for Christmas, or adopt a dog for your birthday, or adopt a dog for Armistice Day.
Yeah.
And they bring the dog home, and you're like, oh, what'd you name the dog? And it's just that holiday's name.
Yeah, you're like,
you adopt a dog for St. Patrick's Day. I named him St. Patrick's Day. I named him St. Patrick.
My first thought is
Valentine.
That dog's not staying at this house.
No,
they're gonna get that dog. This was a split second decision, and they're gonna regret this move.
That the whole premise loosely it falls apart because like you can't force an entire town to home animals if they did not have any willingness to do so.
That's why shelters don't just let you take home a dog on a whim. They have to do a home visit.
There's rules.
There's rules. Like,
there's rules.
All right. So I have been chatting with the folks at Hallmark, and while they are really excited about, absolutely, I have a one-way directional line to Hallmark. Anyway, they are really excited about all of these opportunities, but they only are going to move forward with one. First off, Kyle, terrible news. I loved your idea. I gave you the train points. Unfortunately, the folks at Hallmark just not big roguelite fans. Just didn't want to do a time loop game, which is kind of crazy to me.
Famously don't like to have fun.
Yeah, no fun at Hallmark.
Matt, can I keep the train points and redeem them in a future Spooktacular Express episode?
Yeah, train points roll over. They're good all year.
Train points roll over?
We need to talk about these things before.
The ones from last year were date stamped. I didn't think they would be good the next year.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. That leaves us with A Dog Named Christmas and Boyfriends of Christmas Past. And, Andrew, phenomenal news. You landed in the hangar that I wanted you to land in, and that was the same hangar that Hallmark
You do get your train points.
Yeah!
Congratulations.
Train points.
We are going to make a horror experience out of your game. Or out of
Can
the
we
movie.
also make it a game?
We're going to make it a game.
Perfect.
Well, that was kind of the thing. I don't think they meant Heavy Rain to be a game. I think he just really liked the fanfic that he wrote, you know, and they just made it playable. So
not a single one of those games are ever meant to be a game.
Yours was the only game that was pitched today that Hallmark felt good enough that they would be able to get all their regulars into mocap suits to record for. Sure. And that was really the final decision maker. So thank you to all of you for your pitches today. And thank you to you for listening to Debate This. You can follow along with the arguments on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Debate This Cast, or on our website at debatethiscast.com. I'm going to edit in something here about Spooktacular Express and why you should keep listening to it going forward. Ooh, that's right. It's me, Spooky Post Matt, the one that didn't record the episode. Here's your reminder, Patreon drive for the month of October. Our goal to get 10 new or raised patrons by the end of October. If we do, we will be doing a Spooktacular Express stream to wrap out the festivities, and most importantly, if you sign up for our Patreon or raise your tier during the month of October, we will be offering you $5 off in November, free $5 tier, $5 $10 tier, or $55 $60 tier. That's right, $5 off in November. That's enough from Post Matt. Back to episode Matt. Also, hey, we have merch. You can get merch. It's available right now at the merch store. Where's the merch store? It is at www.merchthis.net. And I think that's all the things I have to pitch. So until next time, I'm Matt Cole.
I'm Kyle, pitching my horror series and unexpected social event universe Harper.
I'm Todd. Have your Christmases spayed or neutered, Thomas.
And I'm Andrew. I've only got 2 emails left for 2 more free trials of Hallmark Plus. Henderson.
We're saying thanks for debating with us. And if you think we're wrong, you can come fight us behind the swing sets, nerds.